of information, the CPS, and of course the media outfits in Cross River State, even our adjoining, national media stations that are here, they've done very well because they have actually reported to the truth of what is going on in Cross River State. It's not like I'd always said, my principal had always made my job very easy for me. I don't need to speak too much. I don't need to talk too much, but the practicals are there because I take you straight to see. So we'll go back to the awards. Yes, it started with let me tell you still that the Sun Man of the Year was not the first. He has turned down a lot. And then sometimes I just see on some social media when people start saying so much awards and all that. Of course, he's doing very well. The world is watching him. And I mean, it's not their fault to say, okay, we have done through our, text messages, through our nominations, through the way we have followed it and said they were awarded. So for the Sun Governor of the Year, of course, it was nice to always say you have done very well. We recognize you, we know you, keep doing better. Because I think even in a wrestling match, when you turn around and see people cheering or hailing you that are doing well, I think you do well. So that has done well. Of course, Silver Belt Man of the Year was one very big one too. That actually started running 2 months before the time. And of course, there were votings. He was nominated alongside 6 very prominent, wonderful Nigerians that are doing so well, that have touched lives. But voting around Nigeria for like 30 days or thereabout brought him out with about 70% of the votes. There he claims the Silver Belt Man of the Year. And of course, the honorary degree, of course, he's even more than a prof in a lot of fields. He has done very well. And then the Vanguard that is coming up still. Vanguard, when you look at the Sam Amuka's way of nominations, they are they are always actually recommended by very high-class Nigerians. They have seen that it's worth it. And it's a very good optics for us, Cross River State. We've always been out there in the national sphere for very positive reasons. Building hope, restoring hope, rebirthing Cross River State, and of course a lot of policies, infrastructures were put in place, and just repositioning Cross River State for a better life in the next 2-3 years. The social interventions, you have seen even our finances, agricultural policies, and all that. Of course, the welfare packages and all that. Of course, even our own welfare as apprentices has gradually been upgraded and all that. So we're getting there. And our optics of getting back our assets, the TINAPA will return back to us. By the grace of God, we know the big one that will come very soon. By the grace of God, we're very hopeful. So he came with a different ball game to actually consolidate on the gains of his previous predecessors, and at the same time build on a stronger Cross River State. As I speak to you now, when it comes to business enabling environment, we are perfect. We give you a lot of concession, hit out a lot of stress that will come with investors and all that. We have started with this economic summit, but for Cross River State for business. And I want to make you understand that if not for anything, for these 3 things, you have the TINAPA getting it back, for the deep sea port that has been actually commissioned by the Federal Executive Council, and then of course for the special agro processing, where you have Cross River State as the only state out of the 8 states, the only state in the South. We have a future. We are hopeful, and of course, Senator Prince Bassett has done very well. So that explains why these awards. Like I tell you, the Vanguard and the Sunday one coming up. I will be there live by the grace of God. I don't know how his schedule will be, but he deserves all those awards. He has done very well.
Okay, great. Now, the very recent one was the investiture. That was some days back. By the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. He was made a patron. So I'd like you to speak to us on that.
Yeah, thank you so very much. Nigerian Institute of Public Relations is one very great institute I respect so much. I always tell anybody that cares to listen that His Excellency turned me from a defender to a striker. My field to PhD is environmental management. Of course, I believe I will hit my head strong to say that I have done reasonably well in the information sector, regardless of the fact that I originally, before the appointment, I was never a journalist. You understand? I want to tell you why I'm giving you this background is because the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations had actually blended me and even made me a better family man. You understand? Because to look at the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations itself, it's about the image, reputation of Nigerians. a lot of us cast Nigerians outside the country. We say a lot of terrible things about our country. But I want to make you understand that Nigeria is a great country, and it's one of the best countries to live. I've been opportune, privileged to travel in one or two countries, and I understand how prisoned I feel, how fake I feel, and how not really expressive I am because I'm not a citizen of that country. But Nigeria is ours, and by the grace of God, I think we'll get it right. And I would always commend the policies, trust, and programs of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Renew Hope agenda. When you're having a very rotten fruit that has been so bad, it is not easy for you to make it ripe and be very good again. It's going to take some time. So yes, we will take all the bullets, all the abuses and all that. But at the end of the day, by the time we streamline all this, we're getting there. So the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations actually is about its reputation. They taught me how to speak. I did one or two courses, I took one or two programs for journalism, and at the same time, I decided through one of my directors, Ben Okache, advised that with this information, you just have to be linked up. Somehow just be a good public relations person. And then, of course, enroll in this master class, which took me about 3 months, did the exams and all that. And I came out with flying colors, became an associate member. So at some point, His Excellency has been is a media friendly, open door and all that. I've always led the delegation of NIPRA in Cross River State for their investitures, for their programs outside the country, the state and all that. His Excellency has graciously approved that for me. So I kept when they saw that the governor has been doing it, they've been following up too. They are media personified, as in their own media is not just these journalists, they're not journalism, but they put everything in one. So I think they felt His Excellency has done very well. Not only that, he graciously approved a property, a piece of land for them to build their reputation house somewhere close to the Ministry of Information. And I mean, if you want to price that property, it's going into hundreds of millions, but he graciously approved it and, grant them a lot of waivers to actually have that reputation house. It means that we have NIPRO stationed here in Cross River State where they can rebrand, change the reputation of what we think about Cross Riverans and what Prince is doing today. And it didn't just stop there. For them to even do this investiture, His Excellency, after I pushed so hard, actually graciously approved for that investiture sometime in December. But of course, where's the time? December was Carnival. January, there was some absentee leaves for us, like a month. Though some of us on special duty were working. And then, of course, it was this much. It was not difficult. It was not easy to meet His Excellency because the investiture proper is that the president, Dr. Ike Neleaku, of course, the council members, about 20-something of them will definitely visit that state. Come down, stay for some days, go around your project, see that what they've been hearing is true before they now do that investigation. And that's, of course, what they took. So it was one big chunk relief from me to see that was achieved. And of course, we took them to some of the projects the Excellency has, finished and commissioned the ongoing to the Koneto Road. We took them as far as the Koneto Road, parliamentary, a lot of other things. His Excellency took them to the government house. They saw it for themselves, and of course, they could speak to the library and all that. So they could speak for themselves and really believe that His Excellency Senator Prince Bassey Edo deserves this investiture as a patron. And of course, you were there. You heard that day carefully. That we're linked with more than 124 countries around the world, even in visas. Even in traveling, when you're out there and you could prove that you are a member, an associate member of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, some waivers are given to you immediately. So we are connected around the world, not just a Nigerian thing. And then, of course, I want to gladly tell you that I was so happy that for me, I call him our engine room, the chief of staff. Eventually went through that master class too, and became a member. So you heard His Excellency said it clearly that day that he will even prefer ESCO members to go, because about repetition. For example, if you are even the type that want to be very violent even at home, it teaches you a lot. It teaches you PR, it teaches you how to relate with people. So I think my wife has had a better husband since I joined the NIPR. So, and His Excellency is NIPR personified. You see he's very humane. I mean, what manner of a principal with all these choke jobs, all these choke appointments, travel here is always in the air, would actually come back to a church to preach and administer maybe communion to people. It won't be that bad anyhow you look at it. So I so believe in him. He has so rebranded my heart to believe that there's that leader there that will turn Cross River State around.
Great. Now let's look at all of these awards and the very recent investiture. What do they mean to him, the governor?
Of course, it just reminded him of who he really is.
Okay.
We are watching you, we are seeing you, you're doing great. You are fantastic. In short, you're a wonderful leader. You're a humane leader. And kudos to me any day, anytime, because just like I told you, even without being from the beginning, a journalist or whatever, His Excellency has the right to bring a farmer to the commissioner for information, but how well did he use it? So you see that I was able to attract this because if we didn't inform, if we didn't showcase what he's doing, if we didn't come out to the national TVs of our rights channels, TV channels that for positive reasons, of course, people will not start saying what's happening in that Cross River State. Let's look at it very well. He's really under X-ray, and I bet you very soon, he's going to, by the grace of God, he'll be given a far more bigger national award by Mr. President.
Great.
I want to assure you of that.
Great. Now, a few weeks back, we had some of the media experts, we call them media veterans, who came to Calabar for a particular assignment.
Yes.
And their duty was on the sports assessment of
Yes.
those also. I'd like you to talk to Cross Riverians, bring us up to speed with what actually happened with those media personalities.
Thank you so very much. It was just breakfast dinner with media practitioners. We have very, very wonderful, serious, well-respected journalists. We in short, for some of us, they are like our mentors. You have the likes of Benga in AIT, of course, exactly, TVC, and then you have Ruben Abati of course, my younger sister Vimbai, who happens to be one of our in-laws here. So, and a lot of other very great, that was totally put together. It was a good thing. For us, image branding, reputation is very important. Just telling me that there's a fire outbreak, sorry, before I even forget, let me even just say sorry to, the fire incident, the gas fire incident yesterday. And of course, I was so excited and happy that my principal was live there to see on-the-spot assessment of waters. And then, of course, directed the Ministry of Health to take charge. Government is taking charge of all responsibilities or whatever had happened there, by the grace of God. So as I was saying, so it's like, it's a good thing to see that you bring, because when we say there's fire on Marian, somebody's being beaten in Marian, you can actually spark reactions of people living within the environs of Marian. So the media is so important, is the one that talks. People just wake up on Facebook, breaking news, this person just fell here, and people start commenting. So for you to have such veterans to come to Calabar to sit together to unwind, and then actually go down the maritime environment of Cross River State, linking the Cameroons, of course, Akwa Ibom and all that, to see that we're all brothers and all that, to see that whatever we're doing, wherever the mistakes have been done, I think they could just actually reverse some of those mistakes with new discovery and all that. I think it was a wonderful one. It's not every day calling Commissioner for Information to come and talk about the oil wells, or calling Commissioner for Information Akwa Ibom to talk. We are all brothers. We were together last night, I and my colleague in Akwa Ibom. But my point is, the truth be told, look at it with your eyes, see how it is. Why were these mistakes? We have brought a very apt leader that wants to correct some of these mistakes. And by the grace of God, we know God is on our side. It will be corrected. And I want to assure you that even when corrected, it will not even affect Akwa Ibom State. Akwa Ibom are doing very great. They are wonderful people. So it won't even affect them. But just let the right thing be done so that whatever is to Cross River State will get back to Cross River State. So I think they took a trip, about 4 hours trip on high sea. They saw it with themselves. So it's left for them to use their heart to know how to judge. Don't need calling us for interviews that they want you to talk about the oil wells. They came here, they saw it themselves. So I think the rest is prayers for Mr. President to actually vet his strength on, and then of course Cross River State will be fine.
Great. Okay. So now let's quickly. His Excellency some days back had the first ESCO session in the year. Now he outside a lot of stuff that that was discussed there. He gave a marching order to your colleagues that anyone that wants to run for election should resign. I'd like you to talk to him because there are a lot of people waiting for the next 4 days to see those of your colleagues out there. Give us in clear terms.
Thank you so very much. I correct one impression, not only my colleagues as commissioners,
yes.
every other appointee that wants to run.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So actually, in line with Section 88(1) of the Electoral Act 2026. Appointees of government are meant to resign before 31st or by 31st of March. It's very simple. Just follow the rules, the guidelines, just as is stated by INEC, so that you don't run into problems. Mr. President has announced that for every of his ministers or cabinet members or appointees that are interested in running should do that. So for us, it wasn't as if our leader just came and just said that as if he was angry or he's giving marching order. No, it wasn't like marching order. In a preamble, preparation for the debate of the memos, he just advised in line with. It's not him. So please, he wouldn't want perseverance to, you understand, follow the law. So what he just said was that, please, for all of you that think you want to run elections, you should rather follow INEC. He quoted INEC and then do the needful so that we Cross River will not run into issues, for those that want to run. But the media hype was like, it wasn't like him. It wasn't a big deal. His Excellency has praised commissioners, has praised ESCO members. He has praised the reason why he has succeeded, was actually in the basis of the kind of square peg, square pole he has picked. We are all doing great. And then, of course, he has charged us to be very close to our grassroots. So that was just one of those items he, on the preamble, just trying to talk about. That recall that if you know you're running, due to, in line with the INEC rules and regulations, please resign on or before. And remember during the stakeholders meeting, he said it clearly that no appointee has actually come to him to indicate interest that he wants to run. So maybe he just reminded them again that, like I'm aware some of you may want to try yourselves. So please do the needful so that you won't have issues. Maybe he loves some of his appointees, some of his commissioners, want them to be up there. Maybe he just wants to remind them as a leader. Of course, as a leader, you should talk like that. Because if your children have forgotten some things about the INEC rules to do, you just remind them. So it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like a strong marching order. I saw some media hypes, governors giving his appointee.
That's what we saw.
No. It was a total. No. It was not that harsh.
Okay.
Honestly, I'll tell you, it was not that harsh. It was just mild. Well, some of you want to run elections. You see the INEC regulation. Mr. President has done that. He followed suit. He's under Mr. President. So it's nice for him to advise his appointees, which we know, of course, a lot has been like. And of course, that would tell us one thing. We will actually know those that want to run. It's not doing poster and then talking on Facebook. We will now know who will resign. I pray I will love my colleagues to win. I will love my colleagues to be out there. I will encourage them if they are really capable and they are sure of what they are doing. But you see this politics business, I'd always tell somebody I've been in a party. It's like putting on so much in a bottle, a very big bottle, and then using Umo to rub the body. When you're trying to leave the bottle from by, it's slippery.
Yeah.
So you just have to be careful. And for me, for anybody that wants to run an election, any day I decide to, I will say for myself.
But I know you're not running.
God, no, I will never. See, for me, my prayers is I work with His Excellency till 2031 and beyond. If He will permit me second term, I would be so excited, happy to work with Him. If He doesn't, I still give Him all the praises in my life because He's one man that have moved me to the state executive, the highest body in the state. I don't think I'll get anything better in this state than that. So I'll always appreciate Him. But if He finds me worthy to be with Him, I stand by Him till 2031. I don't even move an inch. And any day He decides to say, if He decides to, the system, and they'll buy the form for me. I'm not buying any form. I'm not even doing any camp. I will continue what I've been doing to my people in Boki and in the Central since 2011. I have not changed. I see a lot of people, maybe those that are running or those that want to run or those that are there, you start buying rice, you start buying things. You see, people have gone beyond these things. I tell you the truth. Because we know why you're coming to do all these things for us. But I've been statutory since like 2011. Go to my community, go to my ward, they'll tell you every Christmas, this is what this man does. So if my people find me wanting and the system says it's you, the system will organize everything for me. Absolutely. I believe so strongly. But for all my colleagues, like I told you, I wish all of them to. We have very intelligent ESCO members. We have everybody that, well, till they resign, we will know who is really like wants to run. But for every other person that have indicated and said they're so intelligent, they are so smart, In short, the last ESCO was very funny because His Excellency the Deputy Governor was actually testing some supposed aspirants on how to move motion and all that. And of course, they did fantastic, very, very well. So we have great guys in the ESCO. The commissioners, I tell you till tomorrow, are very great guys. Each and every one of them, one for one, match them. They will match you back.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, just maybe the last bit, one shot. Zonal Congress will come up and
24th.
the National Congress. Talk to us on that.
Yeah, thank you so very much. I think 24th somewhere in our Delta.
That time.
Yeah, we have the zonal, and then on the 26th national in Abuja. Of course, for anybody that want to see some of us, I think the best time is just tomorrow. After that, we're all traveling, and we'll be out there till maybe weekend. Incidentally and luckily, I'm one of those few commissioners, or one of those few cross-variants that were actually pinpoint for, the national. I'm one of the members in the Media and Publicity Committee, in the national, and of course, even in the National Publicity Committee, I'm inside one of those subcommittees too, that has to do with media relationship, media buying and all that. So I have a lot of work to do to leave you on Tuesday, and join my colleagues in Nigeria to see how we will get this convention very up. Of course, it's a system thing. Like the truth about it, there are 5 fingers. They're not all that are equal. For the candidates, if you're lucky to win, if you're not lucky, there's a system thing. I'm a system man. You understand? So I think we'll be briefed by our principal, the governor. We'll be briefed by our bigger principal, Mr. President, and of course, chairman of our committees, and of course, we'll do the needful. I think it's going to be a very peaceful exercise, like it's always been. There's no big deal about it. It's going to be wonderful.
Now, this tenure would wrap up on the 29th of May 2027. What are we looking at as a state in the next year and a few months?
Honestly, the politicking has started. And then for us, is to actually go back to those grassroots, nooks and crannies, to sell the good works of Senator Prince Bassey Editu. I was very excited in the last ESCO and I could nod my head and start very well. If they could hear me. I recall some weeks back, I and Commissioner for Work went to calm down the boys that were blocking Ikom of the road. And we promised them, I opened my mouth to tell them, I'm from the Axis, that His Excellency, on the note of first ESCO, will approve something here. And what happened? That road is approved. Intervention is a federal road, not our road, but when we say 10 kilometers, the road is about 21 kilometers. So we meant 10 kilometers of very, very terrible bad spots. We are not looking at a stretch of just 10 kilometers from Ikom. We are trying to take those meters or kilometers from the worst spots to fix. And I think it will be a fair road. So he has looked at internal roads within Ikom, Goja, Biase, and then of course Calabar Municipality, where I praise some of our roads within the parliamentary axis. Like I always advise the Commissioner for Works that we should open layouts. Look at Uyo today. Uyo is not that too far bigger than Calabar, but if you go there, it looks like it's so big because they did a lot of tearing of roads, opening layouts, roads started building. And that's what we expect of Calabar. That is what Senator Prince Bassey wants to see in this administration. And I think we'll get it. So I think we're looking at a very, very busy year. I pray we have a break because I don't see any break coming. We have a very busy year. We have a lot to do. We have a lot to convince and make people see the obvious to ensure that this time around we're not doing 15 local governments. We are doing 18 over 18, both for Asiwaju and of course our principal, Senator Prince Bassey. And of course, we will now triple those votes. On awareness, we will now triple those votes because everybody's happy with Prince and they want to see him come back fully to take us to, because we have done about 6 years. You see these 2 years, and I'll call it 6 years. Chronicle is almost completed. That's a place that has been abandoned over 20 years. ENSA has finished it totally. Today we have state-of-the-art equipment for printing press, and at the same time, I'm going to get that building commissioned by the grace of God coming to an end. We have a lot of other things we're going to commission. The roads, they're working night and day in the parliamentary extension. You know how that road was. Of course, taking it back to airport too. What manner of a man? What manner of a man? So I think he has done very well. And let me not just leave him there because for a man to succeed, we have a wonderful mother. This is not psychophancy. That anytime I visit Her Excellency, Bishop Eyowan Bassey Otu, I see a lot of package, big, some souvenirs. And Mommy, why are you always having these things? She's always giving. Humanity without borders. Because when you're rich, you have everything to eat and drink. What else you need to do touch the less privileged, and that's what she's doing. She's been a wonderful wife, and because you have a wonderful wife, check. I know my former governor Donald Duke said that. Check your characters from your wife. It's very important. She has a wonderful wife. She has been able to direct His Excellency properly, and I think the state is in great hands.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So this is where we have to draw the curtain on our very first set. It's been a great moment talking with you, Honorable Commissioner
Thank you
for
so very much.
Information, Honorable Dr. Erasmus Egbang. We look forward to having more updates from you when you're back from the National Convention.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
We'll take a very short break, and when we are back, we'll be having our next guest for us to take the whole political sphere to the international scene, where we'll look at US, Israel versus Iran. Stay with us. Weekend Politics returns shortly. Don't go